Viewer discretion is advised. These are very terrible people that did terrible things, and usually it's a little bit harsh to listen to. So just trigger warning.
On the afternoon of June 9th, 2017, 26-year-old environmental sciences student Yingying was traveling on a bus to an off-campus apartment complex in Urbana, Illinois, where she was planning to sign a new lease for an apartment. She was running late and sent a text message to the leasing agent to inform them that she would arrive just after 2 p.m. After riding on one bus, she exited and tried to transfer to another, yet mistakenly waited on the wrong side of the street for boarding and missed it. She walked to the next bus stop a few blocks away at the corner of North Goodwin Avenue, where surveillance showed that a black Saturn Astra passed her by at exactly 2 p.m. It then circled back around and stopped where she was waiting at 2:03 p.m. She spoke to the driver for approximately 1 minute and then got in the car before it drove away.
Oh no.
The leasing agent sent her a text message at approximately 2:38, but received no reply. As the hours passed, Zheng's friends, aware of her errand and expecting her to return quickly, grew increasingly worried, and a missing persons report was filed to police at exactly 9:24 p.m. that night. The University of Illinois helped coordinate search efforts on and around campus. Yingying's family flew into the U.S., and a reward of $50,000 was offered for information leading to her whereabouts, but the local authorities received no leads. It was on the 12th of June, however, when the FBI discovered the surveillance footage capturing Yingying's last known location. They were unable to discern the license plate number of the vehicle from the footage, yet they were able to determine that there were 18 four-door Saturn Astras registered to owners in the state of Illinois. One of the owners was 27-year-old Brendt Christensen, a PhD student at the University of Illinois who had graduated with a master's degree in physics and who had been married for 4 years to his high school sweetheart, Michelle Zortman. Investigators interviewed him on June 12th.
Guys, I have a question, and this might be a weird question. 16, that seems like very low numbers. It's fine.
Inspected his car. When questioned, he reportedly claimed that he did not remember what he was doing at the time of Yingying's disappearance, but also stated he was most likely sleeping or playing video games. The police took his car.
It seems crazy. What if, let's say, the guy had a Civic, right? A more popular car? Then does that mean that he could have possibly gotten away with it? That's really scary. That's a scary thought, man.
Contact information, and he was released after just a 9-minute interview and a 5-minute inspection of his vehicle. 2 days later, upon reviewing the surveillance footage, investigators observed that the car's sunroof was similar to that of Christensen's, but more notably that the vehicle in the surveillance had a cracked hubcap, as did the vehicle of Christensen, and who at that moment became the prime suspect. He was called in by police in the late hours of Wednesday night, June 14th, requesting that he come in to discuss what they stated was an important matter regarding Yingying's disappearance. Christensen agreed, and an FBI investigator picked him up from his home and drove him to the Champaign Police Department at around 12 a.m.
24, I'm trying to think. I bet the 24 hours.
Yeah, and I assume you guys came at midnight. That this is a priority, so I assume that it would go too fast. But... yeah. Okay.
Like I said, you're home. My name is Anthony Manganero. I'm a special agent with the FBI. I'm assigned here at Champaign. And then
no subtitles, none.
Eric?
Yeah, Detective Eric Stuyvesant.
Detective with University Police. Okay. We are investigating the disappearance of Ms. Yingying. Because we are in my offices and it's late at night, I'm going to read you your advice of rights. Okay.
Why does that make it a Coke?
Again, this is a voluntary interview, so at any time you're done, we'll drive you back home. That's the end of it. So I know that you spoke with my colleague Joel. I've briefly been able to talk to him. We've been kind of running all over the state. So if you can kind of give me a recap of what you told him, I would appreciate it. investigation, as I'm sure Joel probably told you, is the disappearance of this woman, this young lady, and the most viable tip that we had referred to a black Saturn Astra. So that's why he came to talk to you the other day. Do you remember what you told him? And I'm not going to hold you to it if there are certain details you forget.
So they came...
The suspect had just been read his rights and essentially made aware that he is now a suspect, yet instead of confronting the situation and demanding why he is being put in such an uncomfortable position at such a late hour, he calmly accepts and responds in a non-adversarial manner. Imagine yourself in his position. You have nothing to do with this young woman's disappearance, yet you are being hassled and even accused by police in a passive yet blatant fashion. You would most likely demand to know exactly why you were being questioned in such a manner, and exhibit some form of protest or objection at the current circumstances.
They were just checking out all of the Saturn Astras in the area. I know it's a pretty rare car, so probably a short list. He asked where my wife and I were during, I think it was 2 to 3 on Friday. And I mean, I graduated a couple weeks ago, so I'm looking for jobs right now. So, I mean, I was either playing video games on my computer or taking an afternoon nap. So, I was unable to produce an alibi. I looked into certain things to try and see if I could get some kind of info for an alibi. I sent some texts around that time, but none exactly between 2 and 3.
He stated that he was looking for texts that he may have sent during the time in question for the purpose of producing an alibi. Yet he was clearly unaware that police would later confirm that he was not playing video games at any point during the day in question either. Even when offline, digital forensics are able to uncover the exact time a game was played and how long it was played for, which is far easier to determine on a computer than it is on a video game console like a PlayStation or Xbox. This wouldn't have completely refuted his alibi, as the suspect was smart enough to provide 2 possibilities. The narrative that he could have been sleeping at the time would still have credibility.
I let them come in the apartments. They searched for stuff. I let them come in the car. They searched for stuff there. That was pretty much it.
Okay.
10 minutes, 15 minutes, gave them my info.
What'd you graduate in?
Master's in physics.
In physics?
Yes.
Wow, that's way smarter than me.
Thanks.
And I'm assuming that's over at the U of I there?
Yes.
Okay. You said your wife was out of town.
Yes.
The guys mentioned something about Wisconsin.
Correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You guys are originally from there, or is
Yes.
that okay? Do you know what
It's fried
days she
chicken.
was in Wisconsin?
Like late Thursday night, early Friday morning until Sunday evening.
You mentioned that you thought you possibly sent text messages between, the hours of 2 or 3, so you weren't able to find any.
That's correct.
Do you recall any text messages they sent that day, or like were there?
Oh yeah, there were one.
times?
I actually left. Well, they didn't look through the phone, but I was trying to text to my phone. Like
Okay.
someone sent me a text at like 1:30. I responded at like 3:45 or something
Okay.
like that. So there are texts around it.
Yeah, but maybe not.
Not exactly
that
between 2
specific.
and 3, and that's why I think I was probably lying down and sleeping, just because, like, especially now, I'll typically do stuff in the morning, look for jobs, apply to a few, and, like, I lie down to sleep,
Yeah.
wake up, respond. It definitely fits. That
Okay.
way, so.
Was that kind of pattern of kind of looking for jobs, kind of having a little relaxation after graduation, was that typical of the entire week prior?
Looking for unfamiliar patterns in both the suspect and the missing person's behavior is routine procedure in a missing persons investigation. The question is posed to the suspect in a delusive manner, as anything he says at this point will not be taken at face value. The investigators will be relying solely on forensics and witness statements to determine any shifts in behavioral patterns during the week in question.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. It's,
Do you remember specifically if you sent any applications out online, or if you visited any places
On Friday.
throughout the week?
Throughout the week, I haven't had any in-person interviews. I had a phone interview on Thursday, and
Anything on Friday? Okay. Do you have any questions for me before?
Why am I under suspicion? Is it just my car, or is there anything else?
I mean, that's, a large portion. I mean, it is a very unique car. Like I said, our search warrant is just for the car.
Yeah.
So we can,
Yeah.
look into it. We can, of course, see what we can find. And, of course, you could also turn around and exonerate you completely. I mean, talking about a
Okay.
very rare car.
Yeah.
So,
The suspect cannot be detained at this moment and has just showed the first sign of contention. The first direct confrontation is yet to take place, and detectives will always plan for it to be initiated by them. For this reason, the lead investigator switches the suspect's focus to a less confrontational matter in order to put him at ease before the first confrontation begins. The detectives want to induce anxiety in the suspect, but it needs to be done at the right time to have the most advantageous effect.
how long were you at the U of I? Did you do undergrad there as well?
No, I did my undergrad at UW-Madison,
Okay.
and I came here in 2013.
Okay.
I was initially in the PhD program, but decided I didn't want a PhD, so I just kind of left with the master's.
Got it. I like the campus.
It's all right.
Not too bad.
It's all right.
Do you meet your wife there? Or?
No, we actually grew up in the same hometown, didn't really know each other until end of high school. So we both moved to Madison when I went to undergrad. And moved here.
Cool. Do you have any questions, Eric?
Yeah, when we were talking about Friday, the day in question on the night, can you remember, you said you played video games all day on Friday?
Yeah,
Is it just between the time period that he's asking about, or just literally all day?
literally all day. At the moment, not really hanging out with too many people or talking to too many people. My wife and the girl I talked to,
So titles are unavailable.
she was busy, my wife was out of town, so it's like, well, I'm alone today. So, yeah, it's just
You
kind
didn't
of
go cruising campus or anything?
I did on Saturday, but I mean, getting a little stir crazy, just decided to go for a drive on Saturday, but
Did you go out to eat or anything? Go any places?
no, I didn't go out to eat.
Whenever two investigators are conducting an interrogation, they will always decide which one of them will be initiating the confrontation beforehand. Experienced investigators are often familiar enough with nonverbal cues that even a slight pause or look will be enough to signal the start of the encounter.
Look, you know that we didn't bring you all the way up here to talk about video games and what you had for lunch that day.
Yep.
Why do you think that we brought you up here?
Because the car I own was seen picking up a girl that's missing.
The confrontation is initiated in the form of a question, and the suspect is put on the spot. Instead of responding to the confrontation with a confrontation of his own, which is a common reaction for a truthful subject, he tries to give a justifiable reason as to why he is being questioned without acknowledging the severity of that same element. He's trying to avoid the confrontation.
Yeah.
So who was driving that car other than you on Friday night? On Friday the 9th? You're driving your car on the 9th, weren't you?
Does anybody else have access to that car?
No one has access to that car.
Okay.
So how many sets of keys do we have to that car?
2.
And where were they on the Friday?
One, I would have had one, my wife would have had one.
And hers were in Wisconsin, right? Yeah. And what do you keep on that keychain? You keep both sets of keys, right? One for the Camaro, or do you have separate sets?
I have one keychain, but sometimes I take the Camaro keys off of it. So,
Now, let's talk specifically about Friday. Okay. You went to school for how long at the U of I?
Since 2013.
since 2013.
So you're very familiar with our campus.
Not really. I never really talked to anyone. So
So you're kind of a loner? But specifically on that day, okay, when you originally told the agents that came to your apartment that you just played video games all day long. You didn't leave the apartment.
yeah,
But it's fair to say that we know that that's not true, correct?
why would I lie? I mean,
Maybe there's some misunderstanding why we're here. Because like I said, we're not just looking for a needle in a haystack. I'm sorry, let me take that back. We are looking for a needle in a haystack.
yeah.
But my point is, you're making it sound like we just randomly came across your vehicle of the 1,400 Astros that are in the state of Illinois.
I have
So
seen video.
so what would have happened that day that brings us to you?
Probably that I live in Champaign.
The suspect once again refuses to acknowledge the severity of the confrontation and offers a justifiable reason as to why he is being questioned in such a manner.
I mean, I've never seen one before, an Astro. So,
Okay.
No, well, believe me when I say that the full weight and force of the FBI is going to descend on that vehicle.
You guys say he's fucked, but it's been stated in other videos similar to this that technically they don't have enough, right? And technically, if this guy got a lawyer almost immediately, this would be a crazy different story, way different.
Vehicle. And all that entails. Okay. Right now, my primary concern and why I've been out till midnight, and these guys have been out till midnight every single night, is we're trying to find this girl. It's raining outside, it's nasty. She's a foreign student who's only been here for a few weeks. I want to find her. I'm asking for help.
I know. I mean,
I've got her getting into your car. I need to know why.
there's,
Brent, I need to know why she's getting into your car, and I need to know where she went.
If we can help her, we need to know now, because we need to move on from this.
It's been like 6 days now.
Question: can't the police ask for security cameras of every possible store or house or garage in the area of the road it's leading to, all of them stacked out, and just map it out? So they did already, okay. And none of them had the plate or anything of value? That's unlucky.
I don't know what to say. Sorry.
And you've been at the U of I for how long?
3 years.
And that you know what we do? I work in the Detectives Bureau at the U of I, and you know what we have access to? Cameras. Do you think that we're not going to track a vehicle all over campus? We control kiosks of bus stops. We can look in buses. We can look in every building out on the streets. And you're telling me that I didn't see you driving your car on Goodwin, that I didn't see you driving down Wright Street and turning on right in front of parking where everybody pays their tickets, and driving down University to Goodwin and heading south. And then you see her standing on that corner in that shade tree, didn't you? That's where you first saw her. And then you turned on Clark, and we still have cameras.
I've seen the videos. I didn't see me.
You've seen what we've allowed you to see.
Can I see this stuff that you're talking about?
Do you think that we brought you up here to show you video? We want to understand why you did it.
Yeah.
We want to understand why you stopped her to pick her up. Was it to give her a ride? Are you afraid to tell us that you gave her a ride? Maybe you wanted to make a couple bucks as an Uber driver, and she told you I had to go sign a lease at One North, and you're like, oh, I know where that's at. I'll drop you off. If you're afraid to tell us that you gave her a ride someplace, we can work with you there.
A familiar technique that has no official name but is widely recognized and routinely put into practice. The detective is essentially trying to get one foot in the door by aiming for a lower level of initial admittance. He is aware the suspect is unlikely to provide an outright confession, but more likely to at least acknowledge that he was driving the car that picked up the victim, and even more likely to do so when afforded an exit strategy. He is also given a justification as to why he has been reluctant to divulge this information up to this point. You will now see the suspect start to physically shake as his mind races back and forth as to whether to take the bait or not.
But I know that you picked her up. I know you did. I saw you in your shirt, arms fully extended. Where did you drop her off at? She was looking for a ride. She had missed her bus. She told you she was going to One North, so where did you drop her off at?
Hello? This guy is absolute dog shit.
Maybe I'm getting my days mixed up then.
Okay.
Is he gonna cry?
I thought I drove around on Saturday. I did pick a girl up. I don't remember where.
Okay.
I saw her picture. I don't think it was her though.
Do you remember the girl's name that you picked up?
No, she was
Hello?
talking very broken English.
Okay.
He's turning.
Tell us about what happened. What time of day was that?
Early afternoon. I don't really remember.
Okay.
I was just driving around. I saw a girl and she was very distressed.
Okay.
So I stopped my car and looked at her. I
Okay.
asked her if she needed help. I talked to her for a little bit. Not much.
Wait.
I gave her.
Okay, so he says that he got his days mixed up. How often do you pick up a girl on the fucking street enough to confuse one day to leave the day after or the day before? How often is that an occurrence that you think it's not worth bringing up? Holy shit, this guy.
She freaked out and got out.
Okay.
That's all it was.
Was this when you got on the north side of the railroad tracks on Goodwin? When you went across University and you drove on north? Did you let her out by the hospital or by
How was
the
that
railroad
hindsight
tracks?
then?
Where did you let her out at?
I don't really remember specifics.
Was it close to where you picked her up?
Yeah, it was relatively close. It was in a residential area.
Okay.
So I'd never really been over there before. I had no reason to.
Okay.
I mean,
When you say she freaked out, what did she do? Did she start throwing things at you? Did she scratch you? It looks like you have a scratch on your right bicep there. Is that from?
I scratched myself in my sleep. That's from me.
Okay.
So
So she just freaked out. So she's sitting in the front passenger seat of your vehicle? Okay. Has anybody else sat in that front passenger seat since she got out of the car?
probably. Not with me, but with my wife probably. I mean,
So other than your wife,
I don't
who
know.
else sat in the front passenger seat with you that you know?
maybe a guy she's hanging out with.
Your wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh?
I don't know. I don't
Okay,
think it
so-
was her.
And if it's her or not, again,
Okay.
I want to find this girl because I know she's alone and scared out there, and we didn't
Yeah.
have any contact with her. So you said you picked her up.
Yeah.
You went a couple blocks away into a residential area.
Maybe a two-timer.
North.
I went
People
north
can
for
have
sure.
friends, yeah, but-
I mean, I know my criminal track license.
Yeah. Okay. So you went
So
north.
that was relatively close to Loomis. So
All right. To where?
it was relatively close to Loomis. I'm somewhat
Loomis?
familiar with that
Okay.
area. And she said something like turn left after a couple blocks. Maybe she said something else because that's really when she started freaking out.
Chat.
And
It's not hindsight. It's just the fact that a day that you play video games all day, or you take an afternoon nap and you do fucking nothing, a day where nothing happens, you forget about those. Days happen almost all the time. Right? But a day where you pick up somebody who's distressed and screaming and say, turn left, turn right, and then he's going crazy. Of course you remember that, especially in a small time frame of like 3 or 4 days.
And just want to get out of the car, get out, try to pull in the door. It's locked because the car auto locks. I'm locked, she got out, does it.
Where were the streets at? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember what she was wearing?
No, I don't.
What was her ethnicity? You said she had trouble speaking English. What was
She was Asian.
She was
She
Asian.
was Asian.
Okay. What do you think? How old do you think she was? Do you think she was a grad student, undergrad? Was she
My
somebody?
guess was about 20.
Okay.
My guess was about 20. Her hair length ish, kind of here. I have trouble telling Asian people apart from one another. Sorry.
Well, you would remember
No,
this
that's-
very specific though, because when you pulled up to her, you rolled your window down. She leaned into your car, so you were looking right at her face. And what did she have on her face? What did she have on her head? You were looking right at her.
I don't.
You don't remember?
things like that. No, I mean even so. I taught many semesters here, and a lot of the students were Asian.
What?
Okay, was she wearing glasses? Did she have a ball cap on?
The detectives continue to inquire over the missing person's appearance in the hopes that the suspect will give them an accurate response. If they can ascertain that the suspect's memory is clear enough to accurately recollect what clothing an individual was wearing at a particular time, it will enable them to cut through claims of a poor memory when inquiring into separate matters that occurred during that same time period. If the suspect is guilty, it would be in his best interest to continue to assert that he can't remember. He has already stated that she was Asian and had poor English, yet these general details are far easier to remember than particulars, such as specific articles of clothing, which detectives are now trying to trap him with.
She might have been wearing glasses. I don't remember that. So
What did she tell you whenever you rolled down the window and you were chatting with her? You said she looked distressed.
It's not a throw. He already threw.
Do you remember specifically what
again, I thought it was
she said to you?
I asked her if something was wrong.
What'd she say to that?
She said, "I'm late. I need to get somewhere," or something like this. I was not exactly out of it, but just kind of like, "Oh, I'm going to help this random person," so I'm kind of weird in the first place.
So
Inaudible.
she said she was running late for something?
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, can you ride?" Because again, I was just driving around. So
Just driving around, okay.
Did she say where she was trying to get to? You mentioned the. Show me the phone. With the mask.
she said she had a meeting with her professor. When I told her my name, she didn't really hear it, so I had to say it again a few times. Her English was really bad. Maybe I wasn't speaking properly either. Yeah, I mean, we really didn't talk about much. There really wasn't much said. Just she looked freaked out, so I took her to ride.
So how long do you think that she was in your car for?
Less than 5 minutes. Not long
Less
at
than
all.
5 minutes.
Not long at all.
We have no details yet what
It
happened.
was just a few
I'm
blocks,
curious now.
and I apparently took a wrong turn compared to what she said, and that was enough to spook her. I don't know.
So when you crossed the railroad tracks, did you turn to the left or to the right?
I don't remember railroad tracks.
So you said you kicked her out of the car in a residential neighborhood.
She got out of the car. I
Oh,
didn't.
she got out of the car?
She wanted to get out. Like, that's why I let her out.
Okay, she was freaking out.
Yeah.
Okay. And she was saying things that
Because-
you didn't understand.
Because you.
Uh,
She thought you took a wrong turn.
Yeah, and something was up, I don't know, something like that. So, yeah. And she tried to open the door, but again, it was locked because my car auto locks. Obviously wanted to get out. I'm not going to keep someone I barely know in my car who just want to be in there. Yeah, I don't know the girl. So I let her out. That was the last I saw her.
Really?
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I would have told us earlier, but I mean, I thought it was Saturday.
I thought it was dude, no shots.
Again, I was driving around a decent amount beforehand. I don't remember exactly what I did beforehand.
Yeah,
So,
you were definitely driving all over campus, and you were by yourself, and you weren't playing video games all day. So why would you tell us that? Why would you tell the FBI that comes to your house that
I
you
thought it
were
was Saturday. I don't. You get mixed up the days. I mean, I thought I was doing it Saturday.
The premise that somebody,
So
a
what
girl
did
got
you
in
think
her
those
car
two
and you never
agents
saw her
were at your
again.
house talking to you about when they came over.
Friday. That's why. I mean,
Friday is a day, or Friday, or they're there to ask you if you picked up an Asian female and gave her a ride.
about Friday. I mean, they were asking me about Friday between 2
Oh,
and 3. So I
okay,
told them,
okay. So he already. This is not hindsight. He already admitted that he knows that the person had broken English, right? And he knows that. Okay, dude. No shot that this guy's week is so eventful. Okay, that he thought it was another day. No, dude. Nobody would believe this. Even he doesn't believe in it, dude.
I mean, maybe I got my days mixed up. You know, I said a little bit ago. I thought I was doing this Saturday.
But you didn't bother to tell them. Oh, I didn't.
Oh, the girl going crazy and trying to escape my car that I picked up, and I'm going across town and it's going crazy. Oh no, dude. I thought it was Saturday. You said Friday, bro. Nah.
I played video
Like
games all
what?
day
No.
Friday, detective, but I actually did pick up a female on Saturday. You didn't feel the need to give them that information? And it might be important?
I mean,
The lead investigator makes the mistake of interrupting the suspect during a direct confrontation. He is understandably getting impatient, and is at this moment more focused on gathering pretext for cross-examination at a later stage.
Alright, so you go northbound through University. Where do you go next? Do you remember?
I turned left, so it looks like I did go past University.
I'm gonna ask a personal question. Don't take it the wrong way. You mentioned your wife went on vacation with another friend. You mentioned that there's another guy she hangs out with. You mentioned there's another girl.
Okay,
You
dude.
guys have
We're in
a
an
very
open
open relationship. Okay.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend. She has a boyfriend as well.
What?
Some kind of strain between us as well, in an unrelated way.
Okay.
It's not just the open relationship; it's just a strain. So
So every marriage goes through some rough patches.
yeah, I mean,
How long's that been going on, that strain?
The detectives are now building a foundation for the reframing technique. The fact the suspect has been going through a rocky marriage will now be afforded to him as a justification for the crimes he committed at a later stage.
a few months.
A few months.
I mean,
No subtitles, unavailable.
yeah, I mean, I didn't tell her that I did this because I was scared that, oh great, now this is happening. I didn't tell her.
Did she go to Wisconsin with a boy or another girlfriend?
Guy.
How'd that make you feel when she went away for the weekend, this long weekend with that guy?
Lonely.
Yeah. And it's okay. Those are normal human feelings.
Oh wait, I thought you had a girlfriend.
Did you feel hurt?
Well, yeah, but I mean, she's been since that for a while.
But still, she's your wife, and it's tough. You know, even if you're in an open relationship like that, where it's tough to see somebody.
He has a
you
wife.
care
He also
about,
said he has a.
that you
He
love, to
also
go
has a
someplace
girlfriend.
else with somebody else and not include you.
They both have their own side
I
side
get that,
chick,
man.
side dude.
Is that why you were driving around campus all day, pretty much all day long on Friday? Because you missed her?
Just trying to clear my head. Yeah, more or less.
That's understandable.
And I'm stir crazy. I was lonely. Yeah, I thought it was Saturday. So,
Did you talk to any other girls that day?
no.
Oh,
Did you talk to any other girls on Saturday? Or did you stay home Saturday?
No. Once again, days mixed up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
When
trip
I
you up
was-
on the days.
When I was driving, I'll put it in a clear way then. When I was driving around, she was the only person I talked to.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Do you remember what time you started driving around campus that day?
The suspect was driving around for over 2 hours before he picked up the victim, which was used to assert the argument that he was premeditating an abduction.
You remember driving off campus in Urbana?
Jesus.
Into a residential neighborhood in Urbana?
In Urbana?
Fucking weird.
If I did, it wasn't that far.
Were you in Orchard Downs?
Orchard Downs.
Where all of our married student housing is?
2 hours.
There's a large Asian community that lives out there. Are you driving around Orchard
I
Downs?
did go to Orchard Downs for a little bit, but there was construction, so I turned back.
This was used to assert the argument that not only was the abduction premeditated, but he was specifically targeting a female of Asian ethnicity.
So you were cruising around campus a bit, trying to clear your head.
Yeah.
Your wife was up in Wisconsin with her boyfriend. While you're cruising
Crazy how
around,
small things stack up.
you saw Miss Yingying. She appeared very distressed. Is that correct?
If it was her, yeah. I mean, again, I don't... If I recognized her, I would have told the agents that came on Monday or Tuesday, whenever it was, that it was her.
Okay.
Like, because I knew she was missing. I picked up an Asian girl. I thought she was about 20.
When she said she was distressed, or you said that she looked distressed, what did she say to you when you rolled your window down and talked to her?
She said she was late for something.
Other than that, did she tell you what it was?
She
Or
said
where
she
it was
had
at?
a meeting with her professor.
Again, my my theory is that she didn't get out of the car. I'm just being open with you. My theory is
Chad, I know nothing about it. Do you think it's good that the detective admits that all he has is a theory at this point, and then he says, "I have a theory about this"? I think this gives him confidence. Oh, maybe
The lead detective is now using the same technique as the second detective used earlier to gain the initial admittance from the suspect. He doesn't directly accuse the suspect of abduction, but is trying to gain further admittance past what the suspect has already acknowledged, being that he simply picked up and dropped off Yingying after she panicked.
I'd like you to be more forthcoming with me because, again, I need to find where she is.
We have 600 Chinese students that have volunteered to look for her. What I can tell you is that we will find her. Now, when we find her is up to you. Because you know, and we know, that she didn't just get out of your car. So we need to know where she is now, so that we can move forward from this. But if you maintain that she just got out of the car and walked away, it's very difficult for us to move forward.
Were you hoping for just kind of like a quick tryst with her, or see if trying to pick her up?
I mean, that would have been nice, but
Do you have? I'm gonna ask you a weird question, and
the phone on
a lot of
silent,
us have
bro.
fetishes. How would you describe your relationship with your wife? Are you guys into certain things? Do you like porn? Do you like?
we're pretty vanilla together. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We have some stuff in our apartment.
I mean, do you have like certain types of people that you have fantasies
Some
about?
stuff
you
like
might
what?
Hook up with. You know.
Not particularly, no.
Well, I'm just about to take.
Okay. I mean, have you ever like? You do realize like everything you tell us, we fact check regardless of what you tell us. So,
Yeah, I know.
like stuff like YouTube videos that you've seen
Okay.
regarding Asian women. Do you like videos of Asian women? Like Korean women?
Ooh.
Like K-pop
The-
songs and stuff.
Oh, they got him.
Maybe.
I like all types of women.
Okay.
And that's the truth. So I don't have an Asian fetish.
But something drew your eye to her. because you were cruising all over, and if she was truly distressed, I mean, there was an e-phone stand right behind her. She could have pushed that button and got help. And she didn't ask you for help, per se. She asked, she needed to get to, she was late for something.
Yeah.
And that's,
Well, that's
so
okay.
you offered to give her a ride.
Mm-hmm.
You're a smart man. You have a PhD, right?
Masters.
Master's. Oh, you got out of the PhD. You're still a smart man, is my point. So you have to understand how technology works. How do you think I knew that she Googled the address to 1 North? How do you think I knew that? 1 minute after getting in your car, how do you think I knew that? We know that she didn't get out of your car. You need to be honest with us. Help us put this to rest. Help us bring her back to her family. You can do that. You can do that. You can do it right now.
I understand if you've had dark thoughts. I understand if you've been depressed. I understand if you've been drinking too much at times. I understand if you've had sadistic thoughts, wondered what it would be like to commit an act of violence. I know that temptation is out there. I need to find her. I know she got in your car.
I wonder what other data they have they're not using right now.
Depressed. Your wife just left to go on a vacation with another man. You see her, she gets in. She's vulnerable. Let me find her.
I think I've told you.
Okay, so did she get back in your car then?
No.
Did you get out of the car and follow her?
No. Definitely not. I didn't get on my Christensen.
Why not? Was it because of the kind of neighborhood you were in?
I don't know anything about that neighborhood. So.
Did she run away from you? Did she stand there?
No, she stood there, looked at her phone, and I drove away.
Were you attracted to her at all?
Reasonable amount.
Well, she's a good-looking girl. Did the thought cross your mind?
Yeah, the thought crossed my mind, but it probably happened with anyone.
I mean, maybe she's into that. Is my point. And I'm not judging you if she got in your car and she wanted to go to another location. You guys have some fun, roll around, have sex, consensual sex. Something happens. You panic. Is that a possibility? You sure?
Chad's being kind of weird. Can you guys stop?
So you're telling me you never had sex with her?
I never had sex with her.
Never penetrated her with your fingers? Any parts of her body? With
No.
your penis?
No.
With your fingers?
No.
Never had sex. Did you kiss her?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an integration technique.
Are you afraid to tell me?
It's to like get him on his side or whatever.
It seems like
Downplaying it.
You're trying to think, instead of just answering the question, you're trying to think about 3 steps forward,
Well,
like where I'm going with it. And I think I've demonstrated enough, I've shared enough with you that you know that I know that you didn't drop her off in that neighborhood. You know that we can follow her phone.
okay.
So where did you drop her off at?
Where'd you take her, Brent?
The suspect maintained his innocence and was released without charge, but was immediately placed under surveillance at the completion of this interrogation. 4 days later, the FBI reached out to his girlfriend, Tara Bullis, who agreed to wear a listening device and attempt to get him to open up about Yingying's disappearance and his potential involvement. This arranged strategy turned out to be a total success, and Brendt Christensen was arrested on June 30th, exactly 2 weeks after his interrogation.
An FBI agent testified that Brendt Christensen's girlfriend became a key part of the case when she agreed to record conversations she had with him in the weeks following Yingying Zhang's disappearance. A total of 9 recordings came from that. At first, he denied guilt and told her everything would be okay. But then on June 29th, after a night of drinking, he described killing Zhang in detail.
What?
Investigators say the final recordings were made the day of a memorial walk and concert for the missing Yingying Zhang, an event that Christensen actually attended with his then-girlfriend. What he didn't know is that girlfriend was wearing an FBI recording device. On the walk home, the two began to talk about the crime. I cut her clothes off and just started doing stuff to her, he said. Earlier in the conversation, he said, she was resilient. I tried to choke her to death, but she didn't. I choked her for what must have been 10 minutes. Then I released her breath. I couldn't believe she was still alive. Christensen said he hit Zhang in the head with a bat and stabbed her, and she was still alive, so he decapitated her. Prosecutors say the recordings show that Christensen bragged about killing 12 other people, but they have no other evidence of more victims. Yingying is the only person that has produced evidence that leads back to me. Number 13, he said. I've been at this since I was 19. He told his girlfriend he had been wanting to talk to someone about it and he wanted to kill more people. I still want to do it, he said. It's my legacy. And as if this has not been hard enough for Zhang's family, some of them were in the courtroom today. Zhang's father kept his eyes closed during that recording. Christensen was mostly expressionless. His defense team has tried to paint him as a man with mental health and substance abuse issues who does not deserve the death penalty. The trial continues next week.
It's a step toward justice for Yingying Zhang. The man who kidnapped and killed her is guilty. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. A jury took less than 2 hours to convict Brendt Christensen of abducting and killing Zhang and lying to the FBI about it. She was last seen June 9th, 2017, getting into his black Saturn Astra on the U of I campus. Christensen faces either life in prison or the death penalty.
Brendt Christensen, the convicted killer of Chinese scholar Yingying Zhang, will spend the rest of his life in prison.
I don't make a weird or funny thing about what is this? This is just weird the way they're doing this. The way he's
Convicted killer of Chinese scholar Yingying Zhang will spend the rest of his life in prison because a federal jury could decide if he should be sentenced to die.
The judge certainly didn't mince words in his final statements.
Doesn't that look
CBS
weird?
2's Tara Molina is live in the newsroom with more on that decision tonight. Tara.
Erica and Brad, this is the same jury that found Christensen guilty of kidnapping and killing Zhang. They couldn't come to a unanimous decision on the death penalty, and the judge certainly didn't mince his words. In his final statements to Christensen, he said, quote, "The mercy extended to you by this jury is a testament to their humanity, not your character."
Brendt Christensen is currently serving his sentence at the maximum security Statesville Correctional Center in Illinois. Despite the FBI recordings, he maintains his innocence to this day. The body of Yingying Zhang is yet to be recovered.
Jesus. Okay, well that was really fucking dark. I didn't expect that to turn like that. Fuck man. I mean, it's
xQc.
I'm not gonna lie though. It's a little bit of a disaster that it all the way took to a fucking for her wife to wear a wire. I mean, I'm glad they got him, but Jesus, man, dude, that came down to the wire. Oh, literally, no pun intended. But that literally came down to the wire. It wasn't a pun, the mess. I didn't. My English is too bad, and I'm not smart enough in English to make these types of puns. They just kind of, I don't know, it's coincidence, man.